Here we are on the way from Montepulciano to Pisa. We started our day at 7 a.m. and stopped at Autogrill. Autogrill has all the typical things you'd find at a gas station, but it also has a full espresso bar, pastries, a sandwich deli, and wine selection. I recommend trying it if you are driving in Italy. We stepped through the medieval gates of Pisa and into the Piazza Miracoli, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The piazza may be touristy, but it is for good reason. You can see Pisa's most iconic sites, including the Duomo or Cathedral, the Baptistry, the Camposanto, and of course, the Leaning Tower. First, we stopped at the Camposanto, Pisa's holy ground for the city's dead. The building dates back to 1277 and features Renaissance frescoes, Gothic cloisters, and sculptures dedicated to Pisa's most important citizens. In the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, death was always present in the form of wars, plagues, and famine. As I looked at the many gravestones on the marbled floors, I could imagine how central death was in the lives of ordinary people. You can also see the giant 14th century fresco of the Triumph of Death, a not so subtle reminder of what awaits those who are sent to hell. In the Baptistry, the acoustics are so good that singers can harmonize with themselves. Just listen to this beautiful sound. After a quick visit to the Baptistry, it's time to climb the Leaning Tower. If you're visiting Pisa, this may be the one thing you have to try. Today had clear sunny skies, which made the view of the cathedral and city even better. You can definitely feel the famous lean of the tower, and if you're a fan of history, you can imagine where Galileo conducted his famous gravity experiment. Here's the Pisa soccer stadium. You can really feel the leaning. Here we are on top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The Leaning Tower. After the tower, I decided to walk away from the piazza to look for lunch. You can see that it's a pretty crowded area around here, and many of the restaurants cater to tourists. This day was about 95 degrees, so I want to find a shady spot as soon as possible. I walked through Knight Square, which used to be the political center of Pisa. Cosimo de' Medici made it the headquarters of the Knights of St. Stephen in the 16th century, which was created to defend the Mediterranean coast from Turkish pirates. In the center, you can see the statue of Cosimo with the Medici coat of arms. This beautiful church that I'm walking past is the Church of the Knights of St. Stephen. One of the original architects is Giorgio Vasari, who wrote The Lives of the Artists and is considered the first art historian. Finally, it's lunchtime. This ravioli is filled with gorgonzola and had a walnut cream sauce, which I normally wouldn't try, but it was so good. My gelato. This is salted caramel and Nutella. Our last stop of the day is at the Duomo of Pisa, which is famous for its Byzantine mosaic of Christ enthroned, and the intricate marble pulpit sculpted by Giovanni Pisano in the 14th century. And with that, it's on to Pienza. Alright, so I made it to Pienza, and I'm trying to figure out where I am, but it is crazy hot. It's like 90 degrees right now. But I think I'm almost there. Goal is to get to the Palazzo Piccolomini and do a little tour. Alright, so here's the Palazzo. And then I think this way is the main piazza. Yeah, as you'll see in the main piazza, Pienza is one of the Renaissance jewels of Tuscany. Originally named Corsignano, the town was completely rebuilt in the Renaissance style by Pope Pius II in the 15th century. If you're in Tuscany, a visit to Pienza will bring you some of the most beautiful panoramic landscapes of the Val d'Orcia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In July, you'll see the fields of green turn to gold as the wheat becomes ready for harvest. You can tell it's so hot because it's not green anymore. While in Pienza, I was able to tour the Palazzo Piccolomini and Gardens. This was the home of Pope Pius II and his family during the Renaissance. Pius was a humanist philosopher and wanted to connect with the beauty of nature, so he built this lavish garden overlooking the valley. Unfortunately, photos and videos were not allowed in the palazzo, but I really enjoyed seeing the beautiful artworks, furniture, tapestries, and maps. It's also a great way to dodge the hot sun and cool off. Very beautiful. Go to the window here. Next, I headed over to Pienza's Duomo. They were getting ready for a wedding, which I can imagine was breathtaking. Around the cathedral, you'll see some Renaissance paintings and altarpieces, some of which are from the Sienese school. I also want to point out how the Gothic style windows lets in a ton of natural light, so this cathedral feels very welcoming and warm compared to others you may see in Europe. Alright, so I finished the church and the palazzo, and I'm really hot and tired, so I'm looking for a nice place to get a drink right now, so see if I can find something. Now that I've finished Pienza's main square, it's time to take a break with a nice cold beer. Along the way, I passed through the Via dell'Amore, the Way of Love. I love this spot because it reminds me of the first time my wife and I were here before we were married. You can grab a picture and then stop at one of the bars and cafes next door for a drink and some great views. And now, there's one more thing I need to do before leaving Pienza. So I decided that before I leave Pienza, I have to go see the Gladiator spot. I just don't think I could live with myself if I left without going. So luckily it's like after 5 and it's much cooler. So I've decided I'm gonna walk there, and I'm only 7 minutes away, so I'm just walking down this road, and then hopefully I'll be there in a minute. So I'm at this gravel road, and I'm gonna hope that I'm going the right way. But it's so beautiful. All these beautiful flowers. This is definitely off the beaten path, but I can see I'm on the right track. Look at how beautiful. This is ridiculous. This is just like the movie. I'm not quite there, but you can see the wheat, just like in the movie. The Gladiator Road was hands down one of the most beautiful spots I've ever been to. The fields of wheat looked exactly like it did in the movie, and I actually felt like Maximus for just a moment. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.